right, we just got back from Rogue One.
Pretty good movie.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the
and
end.
They died.
Anyway, I'm going to CG Peter Cushing's face. Yeah, they have a few characters, from the original trilogy in there, which is kind of interesting to see. And CG Peter Cushing, I'm sure most people have heard of by this point.
Yeah.
It's this weird blend of, it looks good, but at the same time, it's almost like he has a video game character quality to him in a live-action set, so that kind of he doesn't move the same. Like, if you really look at his face,
everything just seemed a little bit too perfect.
Uh-huh.
It didn't seem very real, but I mean, it looked good.
Yeah, if you looked at, a still of his face, you'd think he was probably there or something, probably. I don't know, if you can get a really, clear screenshot, maybe it looks a little off, but for the most part, watching it, you'd think it was Peter Cushing if it's just a still.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but then when he moves, it's like that video game cutscene kind of quality about it.
Well, even one thing we said after the movie, because Joel had seen it already too, was that the CG looked a little bit better this time than the first time, but it seems unlikely they would have sent an update out within a week. But it did seem better. Like, the CG looked a little bit better than when I first saw it. Maybe that's my brain accepting it and knowing, and just, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see it before this, so yeah. Take your word, maybe it is updated, which would be weird. Special edition before it's even out of theaters.
Especially Star Wars, something with a huge budget like that. But anyway, it didn't look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Leia's looked a little bit peculiar. But...
Yeah, they have a little ending shot with Leia, and she only says, hope or something on screen anyway.
Yeah, it's just one line. What is this? It gives us hope. Or, this is hope, I think is what she said.
Yeah. So the whole movie's about, getting the Death Star plans. That's why they have them at the beginning of A New Hope. One of the main things about this movie, though, is nice to see a Star Wars prequel that felt like a Star Wars prequel.
I couldn't agree more.
Wow. Yeah. It shouldn't have been that hard to take this long to do that.
And they didn't have to use old rehash, like we were saying earlier. My comparison was like Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Everybody knows the Avengers characters for the most part. So when they come together for the Avengers movie, it's spectacular. But when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, it was possibly even a better movie than the Avengers. And I didn't know who the hell any of those people were. And I felt like this achieved pretty much the same thing. I didn't know who any of these characters were. And every one of them was memorable. And I can't say a bad thing about one character in the movie.
Yeah, you really cared about all of them. And, spoilers, of course, but a lot of them die. And...
yeah.
As comparing this to the moment in Revenge of the Sith, where the Emperor just pops on all the clone troopers' little wrist communicators or whatever, and just Order 86, and then just they gun all them down. Just you didn't care, and it was almost comedic because it just kept showing it hey, there's some other Jedi I don't know getting shot by clone troopers. I don't care. This movie made you care just about everyone they showed you.
Every single character.
Yeah, and if they died, you're like, oh, it's kind of a bummer. I mean, you had to know a lot of them were going to die going into this because it's a gritty story about how they get these Death Star plans, and a lot of these people are in the other movies, so you figure they didn't make it.
Or if they did make it, they just kind of peacefully went on their way and did whatever they were going to do after the fact.
That's what I was saying when, pretty much every main character in this dies. So I thought maybe some of them would survive, and have different stories going on during the original trilogy's story.
Yeah.
But...
Which in a way is kind of neat, because now everything's wrapped up in a little package, so they can't say, oh, then this happened and that happened. It's just whatever happened, and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else that's going to happen from this movie.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's we
Open
cut that off, yeah. There's one scene where they go to a planet I thought was Tatooine for a little bit, but it wasn't.
Oh, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Jedha.
Mm-hmm.
That planet with Forrest Whitaker's
That was
character.
They said that place was sort of an old Jedi temple. Is that where that city was built on?
Yeah, the last Jedi temple.
Yeah.
Which I think in episode 7, they're trying to find Luke on the first Jedi temple.
Hmm.
So yeah, this would have been the last one. They were trying to extract Geez, I can't remember the name of that crystal. It's the one that Jin wears around her neck.
Yeah, K something, like Keldor or something like that.
Oh, geez, I can't remember. But that's the stuff that lightsabers are powered with. They're using it to build the Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wiped the temple clear.
Yeah. That's where they meet, what's the blind guy's name?
Chirrut.
He is really cool. I like seeing a blind guy that uses the Force mostly to do things and they'll fight like that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. The way the Jedi were in the prequels, like they CG flipped around way too much. I like it way more in the original trilogy kind of style where it's more gritty and just he can't do everything with it. He's not a fully trained Jedi even. He's just someone who's kind of in tune with the Force a bit. So
even in Episode 7, I think they did a good job of that. The lightsaber battles were more hack and slash.
And
there was nothing fancy about them. There were no.
Yeah, that was brutal when they're fighting Kylo at the end. And when what's the
Finn?
Yeah, Finn. When he's just bashing away at the lightsaber.
No technique.
Yeah, you can tell this guy doesn't know what he's doing, but he's still putting up a fight. Also, because Kylo's injured. But yeah,
they're not doing choreographed jump flips and spin saber moves.
Yeah, and that's what I always appreciate about any of the. Well, I mean, there was choreography in the original trilogy, but it was sword stuff, so it was more impressive than just flip.
Yeah.
What is this? I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, you guys just dance around one another, and we'll put the lightsabers in,
and
it'll look cool, but it doesn't.
And I was saying I liked that Tarkin in this movie has more of a point rather than just we put him in to put him in, kind of. They make him have this rivalry with this other high Imperial guy.
The general, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but
can't I remember this either?
Yeah.
Krennic,
yeah. And he was the one who's, I guess he had this relationship with, what's his name?
Galen
Galen
Erso, the guy who built the...
Yeah, Hannibal,
yeah. Galen Erso. Yeah.
Yeah, he has this relationship with him, so it's kind of like he comes to get him at the beginning of the movie to make him help him make the Death Star.
Sort of.
Yeah, you can tell like these guys knew each other. I'm sure there's a backstory. They could probably write a book or something on. I'm sure they will.
Well, they have, and they're doing it now.
This actually explains why there's that weak point in the first Death Star, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it actually worked out really well the way they did it.
Yeah, it's like, because, that was always a joke, like, why is there this great battle station with this dumb weak point? It's like, there you go, there's a reason. Yeah. This guy was forced to work on it, and his reasoning was, well, they're going to make it without me anyway, so I might as well pretend I'm helping, but also leave this vulnerable point and hope that I can get this to the rebellion eventually so that they can exploit it.
Yeah, they never really explained how he became an Imperial scientist. It must have taken him at some point, and then he just found a way to break away.
Yeah, I'm sure the Imperial army felt, at some point in this universe, felt more on the level, I guess.
And then it kind of went...
Yeah, and then you realize, like, what the kind of seedy underbelly of it is, because they do give this a air of, like, we're just trying to keep the universe at peace a lot of the time, and sure, it probably seemed appealing to some people first.
Yep.
And then it's like, no, just kidding. We're going to kill everyone.
Yep.
Also, there's our leader, that creepy guy in a cloak.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool. Wait a second. I don't think this is the organization I thought it was at all.
Darth Vader wants you.
Yeah, Vader's in this for only like a couple scenes, pretty much.
But they're great scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really badass at the end. You kind of see this beginning of the battle in the beginning of A New Hope. You see, like, what led up to that, like, directly. So, yeah, you see him slaughtering some rebel troops. It's really cool.
Yeah, he's just badass. He doesn't do anything too crazy. It's just everything that you see him do, you're just going, that's just a badass Darth Vader. That's everything that you know from the video games and comics and cartoons where he just uses the Force appropriately.
Yeah, he's really slow and methodical, but then once he gets to you, you're fucked.
Yeah, you see him coming and there's nothing you can do, and he's walking about an inch a minute towards you, and you're just, yep, this is going to happen.
Yeah. And, you know, we're saying that the Leia CG was really, like, it's weirder than Tarkin's was. Like,
yeah, she seemed, I don't know, like from here to here it didn't seem terrible, but this to this seemed a bit squished, and her face was a bit round, and her movements weren't natural either.
Yeah, it was a little off.
Yeah.
I was surprised they showed her.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she, like, Tarkin, I get, since they decided to use him so much, and I was kind of surprised they did, because I thought the first shot they do of him is just like a reflection, and like you said, you thought this too, that they were just going to kind of obscure him most of the time, just kind of give you a glimpse.
From his back, always.
Yeah, then they just have him turn around, you see him, you're like, oh.
Was he in this movie more than episode 4?
Probably.
Because I'm actually curious now to go back and watch 4, knowing how Tarkin was in this one. Is he... Because it'd probably make you appreciate him on a different level now.
Mm-hmm. You get a little more from him.
You know, his cheaty underways.
Yeah, he's a backstabber and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that at the end too, because he has that rivalry with blanked his name. Krennic again. And you can, right at the end when Krennic's been pretty much defeated, he sees the Death Star coming up along the horizon. He just knows, oh, fucking Tarkin.
Yep. Using my own weapon against me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tarkin seems pure evil, and Krennic seems more... You've seen all the Harry Potter movies, right?
Yeah.
What's the professor's name that he lies to them, and he's this big hero, but then they find out he just brainwashed people?
Oh, yeah. I know who you mean. I can't think of the name.
Because this guy's more in it for the...
Troy McClure, the magician.
Yeah, basically. Troy McClure. You may remember.
Yeah.
I don't think he wanted the Death Star necessarily to obliterate everyone. He just wanted the recognition for making it. Mm-hmm. So it's neat seeing the different...
He also wanted to be in charge of it, because he brings up to Vader. He's like, so I'm in charge, right?
Yeah. Don't choke on your aspiration.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
The humor is really good in this. Like, they don't overblow it.
We haven't even talked about K2SO. Mm-hmm. He's the best part.
Yeah, that was really surprising. He's a really fun character.
Yeah.
Just because he's always deadpan in a lot of the things he says. You know, they're really funny. Because when the main character, what's her name?
Jin.
I'm blanking all the names. I'll have them eventually. But I just watched the movie. There's a lot of names to remember.
I should point something out. I play this game called Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and they had all these characters in the game leading up to the movie.
That would help.
That's how I know all their names.
Yeah.
I've seen the movie twice now, and even watching it, they very quickly say the people's names, so I could get that, you know.
Yeah.
They say Chirrut Imwe's name, I think, once or twice. Mm. If you don't hear it, how would you know? And they say it so fast. Yeah. But yes, I play the game. That's how I know all these names.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
Yeah.
What was I talking about?
You were talking K2SO and then Jin.
Oh, yeah, Jin. When she's trying to get this group together to go actually get the Death Star plans after the rebels have pretty much said, oh, it's too risky, we don't want to do it. He's like, I'm with you, Jen, because I was told I have to be.
Yep. Yeah, he's pretty much the best character for sarcasm.
And he does the, Alan, shut up.
Yep.
Oh, no one will get that.
Nope, just
it's Raiden.
Yeah, Raiden. It's Raiden's finishing move.
Yeah, the one we never had him do.
Just in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say a bad thing about the movie. Not one thing. The whole thing was, from start to finish, really interesting, and all the characters were good. Even the bad guys were all really good. The ones that we didn't know. There were cool little tiny throwbacks. Like there was a guy that Jin bumps into that I think is the same guy from the cantina, which is what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, where he goes, watch yourself, or whatever. He says like almost the same thing he said to Luke, and like, well, I guess that guy made it because they blow up that temple. So.
He must have been on his way on an airplane.
Yeah. Which they have like a Mos Eisley type of city on top of now. So.
Yeah.
So you see kind of like a lot of similar characters you would have seen in Mos Eisley in there too, because it's very much a similar thing. They have the blue milk from Emperor at the beginning of this movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of little things when you watch it. You're like, oh yeah, that. Oh yeah, and when they have the final fight with X-wings, they have a couple shots they use of like Gold Leader and another guy too from the original A New Hope. So when they came up, I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I could hear you laughing in the seat beside me.
Yeah, it surprised me. I was not expecting that. I was like, I guess because it's screened, so it was like, yeah, we can put them in there.
At one point in the movie, did Joel tell the people behind us to shut up?
Yeah, you did.
Good. I'm not going to say what I was about to say. Screw those people. Don't be chomping on your popcorn one piece at a time
Well, it's like,
and slurping on your drink when there's nothing left in it.
yeah,
and talking
when
the whole damn
Mad's
time.
Macon was in there at one point, they were going or something like Hannibal reference or something. I think that's when Joel told them to shut up.
Yeah, and then they said sorry, and then they kept slurping on their drink.
Mm-hmm.
And I had visions of punching them.
Also, they forgot to. They are having heating problems, so it was like we were in a freezer in there eventually.
Yeah, winter jacket zipped all the way up to here.
Mm-hmm.
Hands in my pocket.
Yeah, it was nice watching this in a freezer. But...
yeah, I recommend it actually. You'll have the same experience we did.
Mm-hmm. I guess it goes though with a nice gritty tone. This movie it makes you feel how miserable as everyone's dying.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that they killed off every character. But again, at the same time, it makes it so that they can't. People won't wonder now. Like there won't be fan theories like when Darth Maul slipped down the chute. That I heard he comes back in the Clone Wars at some point, but people probably made that happen from there. Well, he might not be dead, like Han Solo in Episode 7. He could be alive.
Mm-hmm. I said the same thing. I think that Han Solo, because I wanted it to be true.
He'll probably be back in flashback scenes or something to show when Luke's probably explaining to Rey what happened.
Yeah, I think they already said he's definitely in there in some capacity, but
yeah,
it's probably all flashbacks. If he does return, I'm sure it'd be the last one. If he does, at all, it might not happen.
But yeah, since they killed everybody off, I guess there can't be any loopholes, and people can't say fan theory like Jar Jar Binks is really the Emperor.
He's Snoke.
Yeah,
Jar Jar is Snoke.
Jyn Erso escaped with Cassian.
Yeah, of all characters that live, like, we don't care if Jar Jar lives. He could die.
Yeah, hope he did.
And I don't want him to be Snoke. I'm good with very limited prequel references, like Jimmy Smits being in this as Organa again. That was fine.
And in your head the whole time, you're like, he's gonna die.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm off to Alderaan. Like, that's gonna work out.
Yep.
But that's fine. I'm fine with seeing him in there. And Ian McGregor, if they do that Obi-Wan movie, that's fine because I liked him.
Are they doing that?
I heard that.
There's a strong
possibility they're doing that.
And he's going to play him again?
Yeah, they had contacted him about it. I don't know if anything's for sure yet, but I know they talked about it.
That's cool. I just heard about the Han Solo movie, and I don't know the guy's name, but I've seen him in Hail Caesar. He's going to be. I think he'll be a good Han Solo.
Yeah, is that when they have Donald Glover as Lando? Is that going to be in
that? I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I like that. I think that'll be a good casting choice.
Yeah, he's not as built as the guy who played Lando.
Yeah,
he'll be funny and sarcastic.
He has a few years to hit the gym.
Yeah, true. I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Look at Chris Pratt.
Got his well, I mean, just as a character, maybe he hits the gym afterwards.
Oh, you're saying Lando himself?
Yeah, like he gets a nice gym in Cloud City.
And his buddy Arnold comes along.
He's got dumbbells that look like those cloud cars.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that movie.
Yeah, if you're on the fence about seeing this, you should. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have already.
A lot of people are comparing it to Episode 7, but I don't think it's really fair to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or any of the other ones. I think it just as a standalone movie is amazing.
I think the main reason people are saying they like this one over 7 is because there's no rehashy parts in the plot from any of the other ones. This one's kind of on its own too, because the planet they're doing the final battle at, it's got a tropical kind of thing around the base. You haven't seen that in any of them yet.
No, never.
Yeah, so that's a different looking setting. I liked that.
And the fight scenes were friggin' awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't one bad fight scene either. And the ending fight scene was better than, I would think, any fight scene from any of the other movies.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty damn good, yeah.
With the air battles and the ATSTs and AT-ATs. Yeah.
Just the fact you cared about the characters and just going to be this bummer thing.
And
But I mean, it makes it worth more too, because now I guess I'd assume if you go back and watch A New Hope, you see them just kind of mentioning, "Oh, the Death Star planes." Like, you know how many people died to get those plans at this point.
Yeah, it's like that game in Final Fantasy VII. Whenever Aerith dies and they talk about the Zack character, you're just like, that's a neat backstory. And then I bought the game Crisis Core, which is the whole prequel where you play as the Zack character and the Aerith thing gets built up. And then by the end of the game, whenever he dies, you feel immensely sad about the character. And I remember Phelan hated Aerith a ton, and then he played through that game.
I knew she was a character who died, so it's just kind of probably trying to detach myself immediately.
Yeah. And I remember you beat Crisis Core, and then you feel like, I felt pretty sad at the end of the game.
Yeah,
well, it's the same idea with this
thing. Yeah.
Now, whenever you watch 4 and they hand over that little chip, you're just going to be thinking, like, man, you'll remember all those characters.
But that's why this works so much better as a prequel too, because you watch this one and it gives you backstory on something instead of going, "Oh yeah, now I remember that thing from the original movie," and go, "That doesn't work."
Yeah. He was trained by Qui-Gon. I mean,
yeah. We'll go to Dagobah, where you'll learn from Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed Qui-Gon, who instructed me. What? Well, you see what I said was true from a certain point of view. Fuck you and your point of views, Ben.
Yeah. Oh, there's only 10 minutes in the movie left. How do we get Yoda to Dagobah? I know. We'll have him fall off this big chair and then go, "Oh, to Dagobah I must go."
I couldn't.
Perfect.
That was so sloppy. I never understood that. It's almost comedic in its execution. Well, it is comedic. Just like, "Oh, to Dagobah, let's go." Did you make this pact with yourself in your head? Like, "Lose to Emperor, to Dagobah I must go."
Yeah.
Like,
I lost. I guess
that's what he was thinking. You know, he made this pact in his head.
Yeah, because they mentioned Dagobah all the time. He was just like, Dagobah. They've mentioned it at least 0 times so far in 3 movies.
You shouldn't see the explanation go, "Wow, it was way better not knowing why he was there," because it was.
Patton Oswalt. If you haven't seen this, type in Patton Oswalt on YouTube. Killed George Lucas with a shovel at midnight. It's about 6 minutes of stand-up comedy of him breaking the first 3 movies down hysterically.
Mm-hmm. To know where all the things you like came from? No. No, it feels a lot nicer because it feels like people who've watched the movies are making the movies at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happened with George Lucas. It's always sad.
Apparently he didn't even like episode 7.
Yeah, I heard he complained of that.
What an idiot.
But yeah, I get why, I think I got off track again, but yeah, why people like this one a bit better than 7 is because no rehashy things. Like, it feels like a complete solid story.
Yeah.
But in both movies, it was the characters that made you care. That's why I wasn't as upset with 7, even though it did rehash some things.
Yeah.
Like, the characters were different, and I felt like they did some of it well enough. The Death Star-y type run was the only thing I had a main issue with.
That was too familiar.
Yeah. But I did really like that it was a literal Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because they shot a star at them.
Yep. No, that was... 8 will be interesting now that they've got all the setup done necessary to keep you going.
Yeah.
Just like 4 set all the characters up, and then 5 was better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping 8's better.
The Force is with me. I am one with the Force.